Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through of two journals that I finished recently, and we'll go through them one by one, but I worked on them at the same time because the two ladies on the front cover actually come from the same master's painting. It was a large reproduction in a book that I have, and called Mary and the Donor. And I've sort of gotten the habit of calling her the Wealthy Donor, because when I undo this ribbon, you'll see she's in a lovely outfit. This woman obviously has quite a bit of money. So let's go through Mary first, and then we'll go through the Wealthy Donor. And these will be listed later on today. Probably in about an hour or so, as soon as I can get the Etsy listing done. But I usually like to post the video ahead of time, just so people can have enough time to watch through it if they're interested. So this is Mary. I've just been calling her Mary because it's a painting of Mary Magdalene. And it's a sweet little book, originally about how to do freehand and perspective drawing. So you'll see that it's got nice gold lettering, and the original spine is there. I have just simply reinforced it from the inside out. I've put this ribbon on it because I wonder whether it's going to become an art type of journal for people, because when we get into it, you'll see it's a very simple journal. There's not a lot of I have not done a lot of fussing and fluffing and such with this journal. I'm going to put this aside, but this will be going along with Mary. It's just some extra pages from out of the book, and sometimes those are fun to work with depending on the kind of artwork you're doing. So those will go with Mary. And you'll see here I have layered her image onto the cover, and in behind is an architectural drawing from Leonardo da Vinci. So I thought that sort of gave her a nice little background. This book is about 5.5, maybe 5 5/8, and 8 1/4, and it's about 1 inch thick. I have given it a hidden hollowback spine, so you can see right there. And there's a little detail of lace at the head and at the foot. And the ribbon tie goes through an eyelet that I've put through the back here. It just makes it easier to wrap it up and not lose your ribbon. So this book has 128 pages in it. And you're going to see that they're mostly blank. There are a few original pages from the text block, but otherwise there's quite a lot of just purely blank pages, because I wondered whether the new owner would actually want to practice their freehand and perspective drawing in it, perhaps, or maybe they just want to fill it up with wonderful things. So when you look inside here, I have included, hold on, a little bit of glue there. I've included the original first page. And it's nice because you can see the year that it was published, which is 1919. So this book is 102 years old. It's an old girl. The end papers that I put in this book are just beautiful botanical flower prints. I just wanted something elegant and lovely, and maybe a little bit the complete opposite of freehand and perspective drawing, which was a lot of linear and straight lines and angles. And here were these beautiful blossomy flowers. So inside you'll see that I have put a pocket in every signature in case you have notes that you want to keep in your book. So this pocket I actually made from the female artist Frida Kahlo. And I love Frida Kahlo. And I've just tucked in some tea-dyed paper. Maybe you want to take some notes do a little quick sketch and you don't have time to glue it in yet, you can tuck it in the pocket. And then there are the occasional lined papers for if you have written notes that you want to write to yourself. These are all rethrifted papers. The tea dyeing I've done myself. In this case, this is old, so it was just naturally yellowed anyways. I get all of my papers from thrifted sources or secondhand sources. Same with the books, same with the ribbons. Everything that I use in my books, with the exception of glue and thread, is from repurposed sources. So again, lots of room for the new owner to make this book their own. It's just a lovely book. This is an original page from the text block. Another page that was out of the original text block. The paper in it was very nice, quite thick. I liked the design pattern work there. Another piece of lined paper. No sewing in this book. This I thought was appropriate. This is actually a self-portrait of the artist who did this original painting. And I thought that was pretty. A young lady at the easel. And I've just tucked in some tea-dyed lined paper, again, for notes maybe. Again, from the original text block. That's beautiful. This is an envelope inside. I've put some tea-dyed paper in it. And then the way I tucked it in, I glued this part down and it is a tuck spot. And then I put a ruler. I couldn't leave it blank, so I put a ruler. That's a picture of me when I was 3. So I put a little Catherine in the book. And then the envelope is also, I've left it blank so that you can do whatever you want with that envelope. A pocket here that is actually a catalog card, a card catalog from an old library. Before they had computers, this is how they kept track of all the books in the library. And this one is about drawing. This was about a book on drawings and prints and restoration, which I thought was a little appropriate. And then I tucked in some more writing paper in there. All different shades that tea-dyed paper becomes once it's been in the bath. I love that. This is also from the original text block. I love this, all the lines and angles of perspective drawing. It's from the original text block. Another page from the original text block. Another pocket here. It's just an artist's hand, and you can see the palette there and the brushes. It's actually an offcut from one of those Walter Foster teaching books for artwork. And then I tucked a postcard in it of just an old master. It's a religious old master postcard, and it reminded me of Mary on the front cover. And then on the back here, again, this is also from a Walter Foster artwork teaching book. And I made it into a little tuck spot. And it's a woman painting with her palette again. So it sort of has a very subtle female artist's theme in here, but it's not overpowering so that the new owner can make it their own. And then, as ever, it's not a Sunnyside journal unless it has a To Nana's bookmark in it. So I just tucked that right there. So that is freehand and perspective drawing that I put together. This one is very different in that it's much more frilly and fluffy, and but it's still beautiful in its own way. This book is just slightly smaller. It still has 5 signatures in it, but there are 120 pages in this book. So I've just tied a ribbon around it because I thought a wealthy lady should have a beautiful ribbon tied around her. And again, some of the original pages will go with her to her new home. So I have actually, this book was falling apart. It's an old high school French grammar book. You can see the writing on it just very gently in the background, fading. And I just thought this book deserves to be beautiful. So I just went crazy with some beautiful tea-dyed and old laces and antique laces, and some laces are a little newer. They've just been made to look older, and there's quite a variety of it. But there's just laces everywhere on this book, and then it also has stitching right through the cover. I used my sewing machine and I've stitched right through the cover, and it gives it just a really cool kind of shabby chic look to it. And then it's all been sealed, so it's ready to go. Inside, I've used some Art Nouveau wrapping paper to become end papers. And I just thought these lovely little birds kind of matched because the Art Nouveau paper also has birds flying on it. And I thought they looked like, in the bird kingdom, they might be wealthy birds. And here you can see down in the bottom, 1923 for this little book. Now, I do believe it was published a little bit older. That was the first edition, 23. And here you'll see this one, this particular book is 1930. There's a bit of sewing in this book, and there's some lace down the edges, you can see. And as ever, as with Mary, there is 5 signatures, and it was put in via a hidden hollowback spine. And I've left all the threads just to give it that shabby chic look. So again, sewing down the edge here for the thread. I made a tuck spot here out of offcuts from the end papers, and then I made a journaling card from some pages out of the original text block, and then I had fun just choosing some paintings out of some of my art books here. And so I thought she looked like a wealthy lady too. So I included her in it. So if she's a wealthy lady, I just used a tiny little sparkle of gold for her tag. But you'll see, in a similarity to the previous book, there's a lot of blank pages in here for you to make this book your own. And again, it's all repurposed books, pages from books, papers. Some have been into the tea bath and some are just natural. I just like how they look on their own, but some of them, I like them to look a little bit older. Here's another tag that I created, and another lovely looking wealthy lady on it. And again, it was made from one of the original text pages. And then there's space on the back to journal. And on the front as well. The washi tape that you see here and there, that is new. It's very hard to find washi tape at thrift stores and from secondhand sources. And I do like it to be strong because it's actually there for a reason, to help fortify those folds in those old pages. Here's a tuck spot that I made from another painting of a very wealthy, attractive looking lady. And so I've just tucked some tea-dyed paper in behind her. Some music out of an old hymn book. This is a tag that's attached to itself. The other side is over here. And I just had a little bit of fun with some little Victorian reprints, and there's journaling space. This is from a cookbook I have on Victorian cakes, the variety of fancies. And then again, a little bit more journaling space and a little Victorian reprint of Victorian ephemera. This is from that Victorian cake book as well. And again, room for journaling. And over here, I like how that turned out. Just a little fun, just a surprise. Again, more pages from the original text block here and there. This is bullet journal paper. Whenever I have leftover ones from when I get a new bullet journal for the year, I'll tea dye whatever pages were left that I didn't use that year. Just a page of birds. Little tea dyed. Here's a pretty little vintage card, and I've made it into 2 pockets, and I've put some journaling cards inside that I made from a card game that was from some Happy Mail that was sent to me. I thought a castle was very appropriate, so the castle definitely made sense to go into this book for the wealthy ladies. The other side of the bird page. Another tuck spot from the offcut. And then this little fellow reminded me of the pages at the front of the book. And he's on some collaged paper. The tab is made from also the end papers. And then you can journal on the back. This was just a close-up of a painting of a wealthy lady, and to show off the bodice on her dress and the elaborate work. And I rather liked it. So I've tucked some tea-dyed paper in there, and another little, very elaborate-looking little fellow, and a tab made out of some more offcuts from the end papers, and journaling space. From a 1940s How to Draw Trees book. That page is kind of appropriate. It's from an income tax book. An old one. This is out of the back of the original text block. A little tuck spot made with an Edith Holden, a page out of her book. This page is from a book that I found on how to paint china. So that was the stencil on how to paint it, and then these were pictures of what your finished painting should look like. This is an envelope that I've sewn into the signature, and I've just tucked a card in there on the Queen of Cups. So she just fits in there. You can put whatever you like in there. A smaller side of the Edith Holden page with a tiny little tuck spot, so I put a sunny side to Nana's bookmark in there. It seemed to just fit perfectly. And another tuck spot created from offcuts of the end papers. And this handsome fellow, we couldn't just have all the ladies at the party. And he actually is from the same painting that she is from. They are husband and wife. But I put him back here. And then that's the end of this pretty little book. It was a lot of fun to make. It's a very comfortable book because of all the fabric that was used to reinforce it. It just opens and closes and lays flat really nicely. Because I used sewing for the most part, there's not a lot of glue in there that has made those shoulder joints stiff. And I just really love that about shabby chic junk journals. So there we go. This is Mary and the Wealthy Donor. They'll be available a little bit later today in my Etsy shop. The link is down below. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down below or message me, and I'll try my best to answer them for you. Thanks for watching along. I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.